Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I decided to do a little bit of a sit down and just kind of talk with you guys because I've mentioned before that I kind of feel like I haven't really been feeling like myself. I feel like my productivity is kind of all over the place. I can't wake up early. It's been a really big struggle for me. My routines have been thrown off, more has been added to my schedule, and I just feel like I'm very scrambled right now. And I feel like my headspace is not clear because I'm constantly thinking of a million things that I have to catch up on or do or places to be, and I just really want to clear all of that up and get my priorities back in order, and I feel like that starts with healthy habits. So I'm gonna go over a list with you guys that I've created that I really want to get back into these daily habits that kind of set me up for a successful day and keep me from feeling overwhelmed and stress-free while at the same time being able to manage all that I have on my plate. So I'm gonna go over a list with you guys and we're just gonna talk about it. First things first is my morning routine. That is the one thing that I very much miss. It was a non-negotiable for me, and I feel like that kind of just went out the window. So as far as my morning routine goes, technically I clock into work at 5 a.m. and I have to get up at 5 because I have to relieve the person that was working night shift. So what I've been doing lately is I've been waking up at 5, telling that person, hey, I've got it, you can go to sleep. I'll reach out to everyone, see what they need, and do all my work in the morning. But as soon as I do that, I fall back asleep, and then I'm not out of bed until like 8, 9:30 in the morning, and I feel like my entire morning just wasted. So what my goal is to wake up at 5, that's like not even an option, and then be out of bed by 5:30, 6 o'clock latest. So I'm only going to allow myself 30 minutes to an hour to be in bed, kind of wake myself up a little bit, get to work, things like that, and then do what I need to do for the rest of the day. I have a list that I'm going over. I want to make sure that I am sticking to my skincare and hair care routines. Sorry, my dog is barking in the background. Thankfully, my skin has been really good to me lately, so that's not really something that I've been struggling with. I do my moisturizer every day, my eye cream, my eyelash serum, all that stuff. That's kind of something that has been a habit that hasn't really been broken. I do struggle with that at night and making sure I properly take off my makeup, but in the morning, I'm pretty good about that. I'll go into my night routine later. But my hair right now is my priority. So I recently got a trim, you guys saw that, and I really want to focus on my hair health because it's going through like a shedding phase right now, which is totally normal. It's not really a concern to me, but I really want to make sure that I'm focusing on the fullness of my hair, the health, the hair growth, and then I really want to focus on like my damaged ends and that I'm not putting too much heat in it. I want to make sure that I'm doing that properly with like hair masks, oil, serums, whatever I have to do, and that I'm doing my rosemary oil and scalp massages quite often. So skincare and hair care are part of my morning routine, and that is crucial for me right now. Obviously, which is something that I've been doing every day, and that's not something that I struggle to keep up with, is like my oral care. My teeth are a huge priority to me. You guys already know that I focus on keeping my teeth white, clean, my gums healthy, flossing, all that stuff. So that's not really an issue for me. I already do that, but I'm just gonna throw that in there just for my morning routine for the sake of that. And then what I want to do as soon as I'm finished with my hair and my skincare is immediately go into getting ready. Like many people, I have the mindset of like, well, if I'm at home, I can be in my pajamas. I can be in sweats and a t-shirt all day and it shouldn't be a problem because I'm not going anywhere. But I notice that when I do that, I just automatically feel less productive and I feel less of an urge or a need to get things done. So I want to go straight into getting ready. It doesn't always mean a full face of makeup, but I do want to look presentable for the day. Whether that is a workout outfit or a full outfit, jeans, blouse, whatever that might be. I want to make sure that I am putting myself in a mindset where if I'm dressed for the occasion, then I'm ready to do it. So if I'm dressed to get things done, then I need to get things done, versus if I'm still in sweats and a t-shirt, then all I'm going to want to do is lay in my bed and scroll through TikTok. So I really want to make sure that that is a priority, is every single day start the morning off getting ready. Part of my morning routine as well is once I'm fully awake and alert, I do want to take some time for prayer and reading my Bible, because that really, over anything else, that will set me up for a better day. I don't like to do that as soon as I wake up. I know some people do, but personally, I'm not alert enough to pay attention, and I find myself getting distracted or looking for a distraction, and I'll reread a chapter about 10 times, and I just did not grasp anything. So once I'm fully ready, alert, and awake, I want to take that time and just set aside a certain, however long, just set my phone down and read and pray. Something else to do with my mornings is I want to make sure that I started off drinking a ton of water. So my goal is to drink 1 gallon of water every single day, and that is pretty much equivalent to 3 of these Stanley cups, which are 40 ounces. Now that's just shy of a gallon, so I can always make that up with like a cup of tea or whatever. Usually what I do is at night before I go to bed, I fill up my Stanley and I leave it on my nightstand, and first thing in the morning I'll just start chugging water. I want to make sure that I get in at least a gallon of that. Along with that, this is tying into like my health habits. I want to make sure that I am taking my supplements every single day. I have thyroid issues, gut issues, and I want to make sure that I'm staying on top of that by taking all my supplements and vitamins every single day to keep everything running smoothly and making sure that I can be the healthiest I can possibly be. And along with my health, you guys all know that I'm trying to lose weight. Now, my body has kind of been stuck for like a really long time. It's just been stuck. And then I was seeing progress for a little bit and I completely just fell off after that. And I was doing really good before Hawaii, but obviously you go on vacation, routines are thrown off, meals are thrown off, you're not really tracking anything. And so I want to get back into tracking all of my food. Now, I know this is sensitive for some people and not all people can do it. For me personally, I've shared with you guys my whole weight loss journey and everything that goes with that, my mindset, and how I'm trying to do things differently this time. But one thing that really keeps me accountable is tracking my food, tracking my water intake, every single snack, every meal, every activity level, all of that, because I notice that when I don't track my food and I eat something that probably isn't part of my meal plan, it tends to really stress me out and it gives me a lot of anxiety and thinking like, oh my gosh, I just ate something I shouldn't have and I'm gonna gain 2 pounds by tomorrow. Versus if I track it, I'll know how much I went over or how much I still need to get to my goal, and it relieves the stress off of me. I don't feel overwhelmed by it and it keeps me on track and accountable, while at the same time relieving the pressure of like, okay, I'm not gonna gain all this weight tomorrow. Also, if you had this much, then kind of balance it out a little bit and have less of this or whatever that might be. So if like I had a whole bowl of carbs, then maybe the next meal you should focus more on vegetables and protein. So instead of completely depriving myself of a dinner or just completely going over and off the rails with my eating. So that's one thing I really want to start focusing on again, is tracking everything that I eat. Another thing that I forgot to mention as part of my morning routine is I really want to make sure that I make my bed as soon as I'm out of it, because that'll kind of eliminate the urge to jump back in. Another thing that I want to do is make sure that I am doing cardio every single day. Now, that doesn't mean running 5 miles, okay? We're not going hardcore, extreme, nothing like that. But I do want to make sure that I get my body moving in some way or another. Now, I am doing 3 boot camp classes a day, and 2 of those days are strength training and 1 is a HIIT training. So I am going in the gym still. I'll pick whatever day will work best for me. But as far as specific cardio, whether that is walking, running, maybe even swimming, I want to make sure that I'm getting my heart rate going with some type of cardio, because that also really helps me and my goals. I noticed that when I only do boot camp or when I was only doing CrossFit and I wasn't incorporating cardio on the side, I would tend to either gain weight or just stay where I was. Now, I was building a lot of muscle, but you couldn't see that because I still had a layer of fat that I had to burn through with cardio. So what I want to focus on this time is making sure that I do cardio every single day. That is definitely a non-negotiable for me, because even on weekends, I want to make sure that I'm doing some cardio, regardless of how much that might be. Now, if my body is not feeling up to running that day, then I'm just gonna go for a walk. If I can't walk 3 miles, maybe I'll walk 1. As long as I'm doing some type of cardio every single day, I feel like that really helps lean me out the fastest without completely going crazy and like doing all these sprints and hills and all that stuff. Just a daily walk or a daily jog, a daily run. I want to be able to make sure that I'm doing something with that. And along with that, I noticed that I've been getting shin splints lately, or just like really tight calves. Something that I'm really bad at doing is stretching, and my sister is always on top of me about that because she knows that I don't do it. So I want to make sure that I take at least 5 to 10 minutes every single day, whether that's morning or night, to just stretch and kind of help my muscles in that sense so that I can recover enough to be able to achieve the goals of doing my cardio and bootcamp classes the next day. Another random little thing is putting my things away. So you guys have obviously seen my videos and how I'll be super clean and then out of nowhere there's this complete disaster that looks like I should be on an episode of Hoarders. I want to make sure that I put my things away instead of just putting them down. Even if it's the weekend and I'm trying on a million different outfits so that I can go wherever I have to go, I want to make sure that I'm putting my things away at the moment instead of letting them build up to this disaster, overwhelming, where I can't even walk in a certain corner of my room or whatever. I want to make sure that I'm putting everything away properly at its right time. Another thing, kind of going into a little bit of personal development, which is something that I feel like I was doing really good with, and I was constantly learning something every single day. I was listening to podcasts, I was reading books, and I just feel like out of nowhere, literally for no reason at all, I kind of just stopped. I think the busyness of life, I just didn't really gravitate towards that, and I started gravitating more towards TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, and I really want to make sure that whatever idle time that I have, I'm trying to learn something. And not to the point of like being overwhelmed and burnt out, but I feel like when I'm listening to something just like that, I don't feel overwhelmed by it. I can do that while either I go on walk or while I'm driving. And sometimes all I want to do is listen to worship music. If I'm kind of in a space where I just want to be alone with God, then I'll just shut off the music and just quietly, like with no music, no podcast, nothing. It's just me mindlessly walking or just talking to God at that time, or just driving in silence and just listening to what has to be said to me. As far as like podcasts, I want to make sure that I'm minimum listening to one a day. Now, I tend to spiral and I'll go from 1 to 6 episodes in a day because I get so into them, and I love podcasts. That's one thing. It doesn't burn me out, which is actually kind of why I missed listening to them, and I don't know why I stopped, but I can listen to podcasts all day long. The one thing I have been struggling with though is reading, because my schedule is so packed. I know some people can go through a book in a week. I can't do that. I personally just don't have the time for that. I wish I did. It would be impossible for me to read a book in an entire week with everything that I have to do. So my goal is to read one book in 1 month, and the one that I'm going to start with is The Power of One More by Ed Mylett. My mom swears by this book, and I've heard a ton of good reviews on it. I love Ed Mylett, so I do want to focus on this one first. I calculated it, so it's a total of 252 pages. Today is September 9th, and what I calculated was if I read 12 pages a day, then I will finish this book by the 30th. And that's every day with no exceptions. So I'm going to do my best. In the morning, I'll pray and read my Bible. And then at night, I will read 12 pages from here. This is the first book that I want to read. I did start on Atomic Habits originally. I didn't get very far. I kind of just never picked it back up. But this is the book that I'm going to be reading in October. So first, we're going to go into this one. It is a little bit of a smaller read, so I think this will be more doable and realistic for me to get done. So I'm going to explain a little bit of my schedule to you guys, just so you guys know just how busy I am and kind of what I'm trying to do to work around the schedule to make sure that it is to my benefit and I don't feel overwhelmed or stressed by how much I have to do. Monday through Wednesday, I volunteer at my sister's school, so that's a significant block for me, but I am currently going to be working as her assistant. It's literally just a volunteer job, and it's actually so much fun. My first day was on Wednesday, and I loved it so much. So she said she's going to be needing my help again, so I think I'm just going to do Monday through Wednesday, being her assistant, and whatever else I need help with at the school, I'll be there. Sunday through Sunday, I am dispatching for my parents' business. So it is quite a lot of hours, but I've kind of just gotten used to it, and I do a little bit more now than I used to before, but it's kind of just one of those things that you do what you gotta do. On top of that, I do have 2 YouTube channels. You guys know I have this vlog channel, and then I have my cash stuffing channel. So for both channels, I post twice a week. So I post Saturdays and Tuesdays for my cash stuffing channel, and for my vlog channel, I post Sundays and Wednesdays. It's mostly the vlogs that take up a ton of work. It's a lot of editing time, it's a lot of coming up with new content ideas, and just really prioritizing it and making sure that you stay on track with what time you post, what day you post, because you already know how sensitive the algorithm is. So that's something I've really been falling off on, and I really want to get back on track with that. So I have to post 2 videos consistently for both channels each. My cash stuffing one's a little bit easy, but that is where my biggest following is. So the amount of comments that come in are constantly rolling in. It's a lot. Honestly, I love it. I love being able to talk to that community. They're so much fun, but it is a lot of work and it is a lot of prioritizing. And recently I've been getting a lot of brands reach out to me. So it's just communicating with them, going over contracts and deals and things like that. So that has now grown into that, which I love. It's such a huge blessing, but it does take a lot of time and commitment to prioritize that properly. Aside from the YouTube channels now, I also have an Etsy shop. A lot of those are PDFs and digital downloads, which is really easy for me because it's passive income, but a lot of those are actually orders as well. So depending on how many orders I get in a week, I have to make sure that I prioritize that so that I get it shipped out on time and I stay on top and being a star seller. It's really easy to get knocked down from being a star seller, and thank God I've maintained that status, but I really want to make sure I'm on track with that. So I try to stay on top of that Etsy shop, and I haven't really had a chance to come up with new ideas for that, but I really want to because I've been getting a lot of requests. So I really want to try and focus and make that a priority because it's kind of been in the background so far. On top of that, One more thing, I do have a TikTok and I'm really bad about posting TikToks, not gonna lie. They take a lot of time to edit, especially depending on what you're doing. Like it takes a lot of time, but I really want to make sure that I'm prioritizing that, especially because with one of the brand deals that I'm working with, it's specifically with TikTok. So I want to make sure that I'm posting more than just what that brand is offering, and that I'm posting either little vlogs or daily things, cleaning or getting ready, whatever, just little things. I find myself focusing a lot on the camera for vlogs, but I don't gravitate towards that when I do TikToks. So I need to start doing TikToks a lot and kind of also adding that to that. So it is quite a lot. I have a lot on my plate right now, and honestly anything is doable. So time management is also obviously a huge thing, and just learning how to balance. It was really a struggle in the beginning for me to learn balance, and sometimes it still is, because I also have my boyfriend, I have my family, I have church. I do actually go to church quite often. To me it's totally normal, to some it might be too much, but there are 2 Sunday services, a Wednesday night service, and then there's prayer meeting on Fridays. And then if there's any outings scheduled for that week or that month, then I prioritize that as well. And just making sure that my priority above anything else is just God, and that really keeps me sane. I really don't know how I could manage all that I'm managing without all of the grace that's being poured out, because the amount that I have sometimes could drive me crazy. But you know, I just like kind of take a breath and just pray a little bit and let God kind of just center me again, and that really helps me. But it's been a lot lately, not gonna lie. It's been really difficult, and I'm not saying it's supposed to be easy. It's not always going to be easy, but that's just something you just have to, for me personally, I just suck it up and push through. It is what it is. It has to be done. And I probably could take some things off my plate. It probably sounds weird, but keeping as busy as I am keeps me sane sometimes, because it keeps my mind from wandering about all these things that could go wrong, all these things that are currently happening, all these things that aren't perfect at the moment, that are being worked on, that's progress. Like it keeps me focused, engaged, and it keeps my mind from like scattering all over the place. Because I've noticed that when I have too much time on my hands, those are the moments where I start to overthink, or I might get a little bit emotional, or I kind of start overthinking about certain things that I probably shouldn't be overthinking about, and I might make something bigger than what it is. And that's usually when I have nothing to do, and it's basically like the devil's playground where you're alone. Let me pick and put questions in your head. Like I don't want time to do that either. So I keep my mind busy, and that's just something that's really helped me. I notice that sometimes the people that have the least to do are the people that are thinking the most, and that used to be me, which is why I started adding little things and started doing mindless hobbies that eventually just turned into a lot of fun for me. And that's why I probably do a lot more than, I don't know, the average person. But also another thing that I do that I did forget to mention, I am officially starting to do nails. I already have a list of people that would like to get their nails done, so I will be starting to book soon and schedule those. So that will be around my schedule, thankfully, and that's kind of when I can. I have the ability to work my own schedule however I would like. So whenever I can, I'll do it. When I can't, I can't. And I did actually recently apply, but I'm on the wait list for both of these. So I've applied for Amazon Flex. There's a huge wait list. And then I've also applied for Instacart, another wait list, because apparently in my area, those two things have been already taken up. So I'm waiting for them to get back to me when something opens up, but I would like to do those too. Now that you know how busy I am and my schedule is, you can see why it is crucial for me to have routines, habits, schedules, and lists, because it keeps me organized, it keeps my priorities where they should be, and it keeps me honestly just level grounded. I feel like with all that I'm doing, if I don't structure it all, I will just crumble under the burnout. So I try to make sure that I stay as on top of everything as I possibly can, and that I'm organized, and that I keep updating my calendar, I keep updating my notes, I keep updating lists, because it keeps me on track of everything without feeling so overwhelmed by it. So with that, I really want to make sure that I'm working on time blocks. My work with my parents, that's kind of an all-day thing. As long as I have my phone with me, then I can basically work from anywhere. That I don't really need a time block for. Sometimes I do, depending on how much I have to get done, but what I really want to focus on time blocking is for YouTube and Etsy. I want to make sure that I set a certain amount of time a day day for editing my vlogs to make sure that I'm on track of posting at the proper time. I also want to make sure that I time block for TikTok, and if that's taking a whole morning to do like 3 different videos, I want to make sure that I do that. I also want to time block for Etsy from the orders that come in that I have to ship out, as well as creating new ideas, even if that's just sitting down and thinking of like an hour of creativity and trying to make up ideas of new products that I can come out with. So I want to time block for those two so that I don't feel overwhelmed. And then I do want to make sure that I have a night routine for myself. So as far as my night routine goes, I want to make sure that whatever supplements I have to take at night, then I'll take them. I also want to do my skincare at night and do my scalp massages every night because that really helps my hair grow. I also want to make sure that I'm drinking my tea for my gut and my magnesium to help me sleep a little bit more at night. Also, part of my night routine, I want to make sure that my clothes are set out. That way in the morning, I eliminate any kind of decision fatigue and I have both my workout outfit and my regular day outfit set for the day. I don't have to think about it, I don't have to worry about it, and there's no excuse for not being ready or doing something that I'm supposed to do because I'll have already prepared that the night before. I want everything down to the socks, the underwear, the sports bra, whatever it might be. I want to make sure that all of that is set aside the night before to set me up for a successful morning. Also at night, I want to make sure that I'm doing any little tasks that will help me maintain this house as clean as possible, whether that's loading up the dishwasher and turning it on at night or cleaning my counters really quick at night before I go to bed, things like that. Just little things that can help me with maintaining everything and keeping everything on track. And I want to say that's the last thing. There might be other little things. Like I said, it might seem like a lot, might seem like a huge list, but they're just little things throughout the day that I have to remind myself to do to keep me on track and to keep me accountable, to keep my progress and my goals that I'm trying to aim for. It's going to take some time. I'm not expecting to get this down in the first week, which I will do a week. Actually, after this, I will be focusing on a straight week of getting my habits back in order, but I really want to focus on this specifically this month because we are rolling into now the holidays. Like I said, we're at the 2nd week of September, which honestly is crazy to even think about. But we're at the 2nd week, and so as soon as October starts, we're gonna go into the fall and like the colder seasons, and the last thing I want to do is get into that lazy weather slump. I don't want to wake up early, I don't feel like working out, and so I really want to focus on the month of September to focus on these habits so that it eliminates any kind of excuse and it's just part of me at that point, and I can keep that going throughout the rest of the year, and that keeps me on track for every goal that I have. At first, it's going to feel like I'm depleting a lot of energy, making sure that I'm working on trying to make something happen, like making my bed every single day or making myself go for a walk. But the more that I do this and the more that I turn into a habit, then the less energy that it takes for me to do it. So reading 12 pages a day might seem like a huge energy to me that I'm depleting because I'm not used to it, but the more and more that I do it, then the less effort it takes from me because it's now part of me. And if I were to add something else, then that might take up more energy. So I'm trying to focus on making these habits so that my energy stays high and my productivity stays high without feeling depleted, because this is just natural to me now and it's no longer forced. So I hope that makes sense. But other than that, thank you guys if you stuck all the way to the end. I know this was a long video, I know it was super chatty, but these are just my goals that I have for the month of September so that it could set me up for a successful last quarter of the year. So thank you guys for sticking around, and I will see you all next week. Bye.